When I first started out as a functional practitioner, I was all about the data. I prided myself on running all of the cutting edge functional labs that were helping to uncover the root cause imbalances and crafting the most precise protocols for my clients. And each session with them kind of felt like a performance. I'd deliver my findings that the labs uncovered and lay out a detailed, customized healing plan, confident that I was giving them the answers that they had been searching for. But as time went on, I really began to notice a very troubling pattern. While some clients did see initial improvements, lasting change often remained elusive. My sessions were thorough, sure, because I was structuring them in the way that I had been taught. But I really started to question whether they were truly transformational. And it really started to feel like I was missing critical pieces of the healing puzzle. And I didn't want to feel like I was letting my clients down. I really wanted to make sure that I was being the best, most effective practitioner that I could be for them, because people are struggling and they are out there spending a lot of their hard-earned money looking for solutions. So I really did feel that it was my responsibility to learn everything that I could to cultivate the most effective approach for them. And it took a lot of deep reflection, a lot of trial and error. And yes, there was also some discomfort in realizing that the approach that I had learned wasn't really the most effective approach. And ultimately, I realized that I didn't know how to actually coach people. That was not something that I was taught how to do. It wasn't something that I felt confident in doing. Ultimately, I was really just preaching to them. I was prescribing to them, and it wasn't working. There's a golden rule in coaching that I really wish someone had told me sooner so that I could embrace it. And it's one that has completely reshaped my practice and how I work with clients entirely. And simply put, whoever is doing the talking is doing the learning. Coaching is not about delivering monologues. It's much more about dialogue. Ideally, your client should be doing around 70% of the talking, while you as the coach only fills about the remaining 30%. And this may ultimately seem counterintuitive. And again, it may not be the approach that you've been taught, especially if you're new health practitioners, or maybe you're seasoned but have learned the more standard functional medicine model. But this is really an essential concept if you are looking to create real, lasting transformation. And I'm guessing that if you're here watching this video, that is what your goal is, isn't it? Why? Because healing at its core is not about being told what to do. It's about fostering self-awareness, self-efficacy, and challenging deeply held patterns of thought, belief, and ways of being. When you help clients talk through their struggles, co-creatively work with them to brainstorm solutions, and reflect on their own progress, they're essentially coaching themselves with your guidance as a subtle supportive backup. So you're working with them as their thinking partner. And let me tell you, when I shifted my approach and started letting my clients take the lead, something remarkable happened. They became much more engaged in their own healing process. They started asking more effective questions, exploring their own assumptions, and tapping into their intrinsic motivation that no protocol that I provided to them could have given. And here's the reality. Giving answers does not stretch people. It does not create breakthroughs. It does not create growth. It really just makes them passive. And the more somebody is spoon-fed solutions, the more they're going to rely on external experts instead of developing the critical thinking skills necessary to sustain their own changes. As a health coach, your role is not to play the all-knowing expert. Instead, you're there to prompt reflection, ask the right questions, and hold space for your clients as they work to find their own answers within themselves. This is where true transformation happens. And this is what's going to allow you to see 3 times greater healing breakthroughs with your client. Another important truth that we must face as coaches is that it's the clients, not the coaches, that are ultimately responsible for their outcomes. No matter how well researched your recommendations or how persuasive your insights, meaningful change requires taking ownership, taking 100% responsibility. And ownership and responsibility only comes when individuals feel fully invested in their decisions. And this only happens when they feel that they are in the driver's seat and have a hand, again, in co-creating their own action steps forward. When we give clients the space to talk, to think, they begin to understand themselves at a much deeper level. They can then uncover those limiting beliefs, identify what truly matters to them, how they're showing up in the world, and chart a path that aligns with what it is that they truly value. This is what makes the healing process personal. And personalization is the foundation for long-term success. Without this important piece, health coaching risks becoming purely transactional. Yeah, clients may leave with a plan, but without the mindset shifts necessary to actually see the plan through, they'll likely return to their old habits and patterns and find themselves dependent on external guidance in the future. And these can often be the clients that you'll see hopping from practitioner to practitioner to practitioner, looking for solutions. Imagine a client struggling with stress-related eating. A transactional approach might focus solely on telling them to not eat sugary snacks, stocking the fridge with healthy alternatives, possibly even providing them with a meal plan. But a transformational approach digs much, much deeper than that. Instead of prescribing changes, you might ask your client, what's your eating pattern when you feel stressed? What's another way that you could comfort yourself in those moments? What feelings are coming up for you? That simple shift from telling to asking encourages them to reflect, consider options, and take ownership of the solution. This is not about guaranteeing perfect compliance to a plan. It's about empowering someone to reframe their thinking and discover strategies that work for them. Over time, this approach fosters more independence. Clients aren't just following directions, they're solving problems more effectively and building the confidence to face challenges head on, even after your coaching relationship has ended. Years of coaching have taught me that the most effective health coaches aren't just the loudest voices in the room. They're the ones who gently guide, ask effective questions, and know when to step back. By talking less and listening more, you create space for transformation, growth, and self-discovery in ways that you may have never imagined, but likely your clients desperately need and have not gotten. If you're a new or experienced health coach wondering how to create sessions that truly resonate, here is my challenge to you. For your next client session, consciously pull back. Listen intently. And you're not just listening for their words, you're listening for their tone of voice. You're even kind of listening for their body language. Resist the urge to fill every pause and leave more space for your client to reflect and take the lead. And watch what happens when your role shifts from director and expert to guide and facilitator. You can become a much more dynamic agent of change. This is a process that we teach within our Holistic HTMA Pro program. And you can get started by watching our free training video, clicking in the link below. Transformation isn't something that you just give to your clients. It's something that they have to create for themselves. Your job is ultimately to hold that mirror up and again, ask the right questions, not to just simply hand over the answers, because this is really where transformation, breakthrough, and the healing magic happens. If you're interested in learning more, you can also visit www.wellnesscodeacademy.com. And we appreciate you watching this video. See you next time.